Hello, everyone. So we'll be talking in this class today on how to onboard your VAs. In onboarding your VAs, there are 3 steps on how to do it. The step 1 would be on talking about the pay grades. Step 2 would be you'll be talking about the working situations, and the third step would be the communication on how you'll be communicating with your VAs. So the first step, which is on your pay grade, which is the pay grade, it will be on how you introduce your VA to the company. There are topics, specific subtopics on those steps, and also there are side notes. If you want the SOP for this one, I'll send it here in the chat, which is this one, so that you can see what I'm talking about as well. Let me make sure. Okay. So for the first step, for the first topic on the pay grade, it would be introduced to the company. Introduce him or her to the team so that if ever he or she has questions in regards for his work, he knows who he'll be asking with his teammates and have more communications with one another. This is especially if ever that your VA is currently doing SEO, and if ever there are other people that are working on the SEO part, and if ever there are questions or concerns regarding such as the backlinks on what they have been working on previously, they can ask them rather than going to you directly. The second step would be introduce the rate for pay, but explain that there are benefits. From this one, remind him or her in regards to this pay rate, and also let him know that he or she gets other benefits while they're working for your company. From this one, you'll be talking to him about the benefits on what he'll be getting when he's working with you. The third topic would be confirming with your VAs if they are happy with your rate that you are offering with them. For this one, you need to confirm your VAs if they are happy with with the rates. I don't think we got the link. Sorry. I thought that I gave everyone the link. That's the link. Going back, confirming with your VA if they are happy with the rate that you'll be giving them. Getting the affirmation with this so that you can determine if the VA can work for a long period of time or he'll be working temporarily for you. This is to confirm that your VA would be happy with the pay rate, with their current pay rate. Because there are other VAs that might be they'll be saying, yes, I'm okay with the pay rate. However, deep down they're actually unhappy because either the pay rate is too low or it's somewhat decent, or maybe someone is offering him or her a higher pay rate. The fourth one would be remind the VA for the work schedule that was agreed on. Remind them regarding the working time, if it's possible to have them clock in or clock out so that you can determine if they are working or not. This one is somewhat how do I put this? Very crucial in terms of having your VA to work, because there some VAs might say that they are working where in fact they're actually not working. This is why having time clocks for your VA, since they are currently not around you, it's very important, especially if they're doing the SEO, the how do I put this, web design. You don't know what they've been working on. This is why some other people are recommending time clocks that has screenshots being sent over to them. The fourth one would be get assurance as you are a priority from the VA. Being a priority from the VA is a must, especially if the VA is handling several people. How can we determine if we are the only one that they are working for, if we have full-time VA? For that one, you will be, it's either you ask them directly if they are gonna be honest regarding that one, or maybe they'll still say that they don't have any VAs, other clients that has been working on. Sorry about that. Get assurance is your priority from the VA. Like I said, ask the VA directly if they're gonna be honest about that one. If they're gonna be working only you or they have other people, especially if it's a web build or an SEO. Since a web build, especially if it's how do I put this, time oriented, that they should finish this one in a specific time and date. They need to completely be focused on you. What is the hourly rate for good VA? I would say that it's gonna be about $3 to $7. Three for the if you're the VA is still training, and $7 would be an average good VA that has complete knowledge in what he needs to be done. He needs to do rather. Any other questions? So that if there are none, I can continue. Okay, next, confirm the assurance. Make sure to verify what he was saying that he can do is as what he can as promised rather. Make sure to verify that what he was saying that he can do is what he is promising you to do. Make sure this one is from the interview itself. You need to confirm that what he has been saying before is the one that he can do while he is working with you. Make sure that you need to confirm that one, because he might be saying that, yes, I can do the web build in just 2 to 3 days, where in fact he's just saying it just so that he can impress you. And then later on, after 3 to 5 days, he's still not done. He's still working on the homepage, which is very bad for you, especially if you're paying them a higher rate, and that's very bad. Step two would be working situations. There are 3 topics regarding this working situations, which is the power and internet connection, asking for more information regarding possible problems while working, and lastly, the solution of the possible solution for the problem. For the power internet connection, ask on what part of the Philippines he is working, and also ask if the internet and power is stable, as there are several locations in the Philippines have unstable internet connection and power that tends to be out for more than 12 hours. This one is somewhat true. It's very true, especially if they're in Visayas region and in Mindanao, because most of the time power constantly goes out, and internet, especially when it rains heavily, the internet connection is very unstable. The second one will be asking for more information regarding the possible problems while working. Ask the VA as much as possible in regards to the weather, power, and internet issues, since it's very prone to typhoons and has unstable internet connection. Why is this at? And internet connection for most people. This one is somewhat similar to the power internet connection, but there are other times the VA tends to have other problems like financially or family problems, because maybe the VA had a family member that died, which is somewhat, how to put this, it's very alarming for the VA, because they tend to attend the mornings for the VAs, for their families, the loved one. How long do you think a small website build for a local site should take? How many days or hours? It would depend on what type of website it would be. If it's gonna be a WooCommerce site, it would take. It depends on how many variations. But if ever it's just a simple web build, it would depend on what site that you want them to build for. If you have a specific website that you want it to copy to be based on, it would take maybe 3 to 5 days, depending on the queue that he's working on. And edit wise, it would take them maybe an hour or a day max. And that's good, Sir Jeff. And then the third The third topic for the working situation is the solution of the possible problem. Ask the VA in regards to those problems on how they can address the problem, since these types of problems would arise unexpectedly, so that you'll be expecting on these types of problems would occur and what they should do when these problems would occur. For this one, just from the statement itself, asking the VA in regards to the problems on how to solve them. Some of them might say that, oh, my mother died and I had to go and tend to look after look after her rather, and then it would take them maybe a week. Usually, it takes a week just for the after the burial, and then after a week, they will how do I put this? Make up for the lost time. Maybe they work for, instead of 8 hours a day, they'll be working 10 hours a day just to cope up with the last week that he wasn't able to work, or maybe 12 hours. It depends on how they'll be saying on how to solve the problems, especially on the work internet connection. What will they do if there are no if their internet connection is unstable? Maybe they'll say that they'll be purchasing a broadband where they will just use that one instead of their current internet connection. Remember, your VA is as good as you. I give clear instruction and is not a Swiss Army knife with 24 skills. That's true, sir. If you have a VA that can do that one, he's gonna be, how do I put this? He doesn't know where to start on doing all of their tasks that is being given. Third step, communication. The topics would be the put expectation to yourself and to the VA. Have a person you can contact in case of if the person is out of reach. Have them ask you questions. Discourage drama. Finishing up the onboarding process and inform the VA on what he'll be receiving while working. Any questions so far? Do you have other questions? Is anyone having questions? No questions. What is the best city to look for best talent? If you're looking for best for talent in terms of talent, I would recommend around Luzon, since they have also they almost have everything. By everything, I mean they're special. They're skillful. However, they're costly. If ever that you want a VA to be trained, if you want a VA that's currently not yet fully trained, you can look for around Visayas and Mindanao. They might not, so that you can pay them less, and then from time to time you can increase them once their experience is getting better, once their work rather is getting better. Okay. Communication. Put expectations to yourself and to the VA. Having communication is the key for everything, even if the VA isn't that skillful. Just like what I have said, even if the VA isn't that skillful, what matters is communication rather. They will learn as time would pass. However, if the communication is not happening often, you and the VA would not be working well and would end up firing them. Especially on these following situations. If you are to message the VA and would take them to if you are to message the VA, would they be able to respond right away? If not, when will they be responding, so that you can identify when they would be when would they be available? Just like here in the Philippines, and whenever someone messages us in support, most of the time it's gonna be around nighttime on your end. However, on our end, it's gonna be morning. That's why we tend to respond when it's nighttime on your end, because none of us are working while it's nighttime, which is 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning, evening to morning. Have other means of communications other than emails, such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and other social media platform, so that both of you can communicate. How do I put this? Having a different social media communication platform, because when you're doing email, most of the time emails are not being notified directly on their phone, especially if they're currently resting, or maybe they're still working and they weren't able to see the message because they need to open the email afterwards, rather than if they're to message them via social media such as the Facebook Messenger, it just pops up directly on their phone. If the VA is unavailable, make sure that they would message you or the team and have them relay it to you so that you will know that what was happening as of why he's not working. This one is somewhat important since how do I put this? Sorry if I say how do I put this most of the time. If the VA is unavailable, do you recommend increasing VA salary yearly or just static forever? I would say that it's not advisable if you're tend to make your VA to be static in terms of salary, especially if he's growing, he's doing faster, and he's doing a better work. I would recommend increasing him or her from time to time, especially if he's getting well at it. Especially if the work that he used to do takes like 2 hours, he can do the work like 30 minutes. I would strongly advise for him or her to be increased the salary, right? The salary, I mean. Have a person you can contact in case of the person is out of reach. Have a specific person that knows your VA so that when a problem arises and doesn't respond to you, you'll have a person to reach out to them instantly. This one is how do I put? For this one to work, I would advise having your VA to have a CV or curriculum vitae so that you can identify on who's the contact persons that you can contact whenever they're not available. Since there are references on who to contact with, such as their previous employer, or maybe their family, or maybe their friend. Maybe they put it in there. Have them ask you questions. Let them ask you several questions to help you and themselves to know each other further, especially on how everything works in the company, as they have to adjust as well in the work area, so they would be able to adapt faster. This one is just to make your VA more open to you and your team, since they just started, and most of the time, most of the VAs are clueless on what the environment of your company would be like. How is the process of your team doing? What is the process rather? Do they have to keep you updated, or do they have a team leader, or do they have other people to be updated, because there might be processes that are being done, especially if they're the content writers. Who would they be sending those contents to? We get our VA to buddy up and cross train, so if one is away, work still gets done. And that's nice, Sir Jeff. Hope we can get that. I hope we get into that one soon. Since as of now, currently have a lot of people that is currently here because they are sick. Hopefully it's not COVID. Next one would be discourage drama. Avoid talking about negative issues within the company, such as backbiting one of their teammates or disrespecting the heads of each department, as this would cause a huge problem within the team. This is somewhat, how do I put this? Very crucial in terms of communication, because if ever that they have problems, they won't be talking to to other team members, such as if ever that the ones that they're having problems with is the team leader. Because if there are problems, who will they be talking to, just so that those problems would be fixed? Like a problem within the website. It's currently 403 and they don't know what to do. If they're currently not in terms not okay, especially if the one that they're not in good terms, they're not that one is the one expert in terms of web build. how can they fix it if he's not gonna be in good terms or communicate with them? And then later on it would arise, and then it would be, then your client would complain, why is this still having problem, and you did not know what was the cause. And then you find out there was one of your VAs is angry at that specific VA. So what's the they should, so that's why it should be avoided. They should still be in good terms. Second to the last would be finishing up the onboarding process. Once you've completely settled everything, you can get the VA to start working within your preferred date, and make sure to constantly check up on them. And lastly, inform the VA on what he'll be receiving while working. Get your VA pumped up and assure them to have some sort of benefits, if any. And also encourage them in their work. For this one, once the VA is ready to work, you can inform them on what he'll be receiving, such as the incentives, the benefits. If they get those types of benefits, like if they do a great job, you give them a bonus or maybe a raise, just like that. Any questions? Here is using a VA, and are you happy with the results? Is any one of you happy with the results of your VA? We give 10% bonus any income they bring in monthly. God, that's nice. Bambi, yes, I am. I'm training my VAs, but find that there is a ton to train on them. Oh, not so easy. Hopefully, Sir Patrick, in the future they'll be trained well. What about you, Ma'am Bambi? You said that you were happy with your VA.
I think I've got a log out. This is not fun. I'm gonna pop out.
Sure. Any other questions? Do you have questions in regards to on the onboarding process of your VAs? And if there are no questions, we can stop the class for today, and then we'll talk more about the SOPs on the works that each of your VAs would be doing. If example, it's gonna be SEO, or maybe web builds, or the cloud stacks, so on and so forth. Okay, since no one is gonna be asking questions, I guess I can stop the class for today. On Friday or Saturday, sir, I'll be teaching that one. Okay. Thanks. Thank you, everyone.